What's going on? Yes, these AI. Look, man, they get the job done. That's all I gotta say. They get the job done. But I appreciate your concern about it. Jazakallah khair. Also, yeah, your name is quite absurd. Like that is probably one of the craziest names I've seen in a while. Alhamdulillah. But what's going on, everyone? We have an open forum today. Yes, I agree with you, undercover friend. But yeah, what's going on, everyone? We have another open forum. We're gonna try another open forum today. I feel like, it'd be really nice to get a Christian to join. I'm sure they might have some arguments. No, your name's perfect. Your name's perfect. I like it. I like it too. Alhamdulillah. No one said there's something wrong with it. What in the base username Mosque Roper? I know, it's so bizarre. It's like, it's so bizarre. I mean, it's like I love it, but then it's like, I don't know. Nick Fuentes has had his downhill. But I mean, I've only really seen clips of Nick Fuentes, so I don't really know too much about him. But he has been extremely critical of Brother Sneeko and of Islam. But anyways, that's a conversation for a whole nother time. So yeah, I would like to. I was like, okay, we're gonna do open forum today. I would really like to get maybe a couple Christians on today. Not necessarily to argue at all. That's like the last thing I'd want to do. But if they want to talk about some points, I'm happy to hear them out. But I would like to hear what their thoughts are. I thought you said it's not. No. I'm saying that the Hamas Groiper name is actually absurd. That is absurd. Not your name. But yeah, I would like to if we can get some Christians on. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to get some Christians to talk about the Lily J situation and the IP grifter situation. Just to hear what their thoughts are. I know I was like freaking out on the post yesterday. It's because it actually like made me so upset. I was so angry to see that entire situation. I was thinking about making a video about it. Oh, walaikum salam, Ahmed, good to see you. I was thinking about making a video about it, but it was just like, you know what, it's probably not the best to even promote this situation any more than a lot of the other Muslim influencers are going to talk about it anyways. Bismillah. But yeah, it's just like unfortunately really sad. The whole thing is pretty sad because, I'm going to just do a quick little touch up on this conversation about the whole IP situation. But I did a little bit of research yesterday. Again, like chicken or the egg, like what came first? And I know that IP and his little gang of goons who all worship David Wood. They've been like anti-Islam for forever, and they've said horrible things about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, all that stuff. I get that. But it sounds like this time it really erupted. By the way, no, Max, no, Moise, it's the best thing. I'm not saying it's a bad username. I'm just saying it's absurd. Like, it's actually absurd. But yeah, just a quick little, like, my 2 cents about the IP situation in particular. Like, yes, I know it's, again, chicken or the egg. What is the real reason, like, this has all gone down? But from the research that I've done is that the reason why this time it really exploded was because they said horrible things about Cora. They essentially called her an ISIS, like, okay, I don't even want to say it, but a T-wrist whore. Like, that's what I guess that's how this all started. They made a lot of slander towards Cora, who obviously is not only just a woman, but she hasn't been married, from my understanding, and it's just, yeah, they started to say absolutely just horrible things about her, and then people came to her defense. And then they used that, and I saw some of the things that they said. I guess they said, like, oh, like, I'm going to make you and your wife my concubine, which is, like, one, really cringe, but I get it. They're trying to I mean, I don't get it. I honestly, like, it's just slander versus slander, transgression versus transgression. It's not gonna fix the situation at all. Honestly, like I said in my post, when you see trash in the garbage, you just leave it there. Just leave the trash in the garbage. And I guess they've also done this before. They like AP has done this, GL has done this, DW has done this, IP has done this. This is like a constant playbook where under the guise of Islamic extremism, they do a massive fundraiser, and this time $200,000 in just a couple days. $200,000. That tattoo looks horrible. I don't have a tattoo. But $200,000 in just a couple days, which is like, I mean, you guys need to understand. You guys need to understand that this is like 4 times of what the average American makes, and he's using like angry hatred, anti-Islam propaganda to profit, to extract wealth from his from his audience. And it's just so bizarre to me. It angers me. It angers me that people like this exist. It angers me that he profited off of the Ummah, coming to his defense, coming to Korah's defense, from my understanding. I want to just, even though I have totally so many disagreements with this guy, and he obviously doesn't know I exist anyways, but shout out Sam Shamoud, or Sam Simone, whatever his last name is. I don't mean that out of disrespect. I just mean it because I just don't know how to pronounce it. But shout out him. He has called out all of the characters that I just mentioned. He's called them out and said that that they've done this before, that they're playing the victim card, and they're doing it to extract wealth from Christians. So I want to shout out that guy, even though I don't agree with his opinions, and he's also been extremely critical of Islam, unfairly in my opinion in some ways on really big podcasts. He still stood up for the truth, and I respect that. I respect that from Sam. He called them out on Twitter. He's called them out on his streams, and it's totally true. People have been doxxed so many times online. This has been going on since literally the beginning of YouTube, pretty much. Like, people have been getting doxxed forever, and no one's raised money from it, right? People just make public statements, they move whatever, and but no one's raised money, and they've raised $200,000, right? And this would be fine if it was under whatever circumstances. But again, it's under the circumstances that they're trying to say this is Islamic extremism, and that's just horrible. Like, it sickens me. It disgusts me. I'm so disgusted with those people. I'm so disgusted that this happened. This is why I'm just like, we should not even give these people like that, like, attention, and hatred. Like, sure, debates, fine, debate them, right? Like, call them out, on those regards. But trying to do these threats that they can then use to monetize and extract wealth from their audience is under the guise of Islamic extremism is the most horrific thing. Because again, this just fuels more madness. This just fuels more hatred. This just fuels more Islamophobia. And we'll see more things like the terrorist attack, the Christian terrorist attack on the San Diego Masjid that was just a couple months ago. Again, just a few hours from where I live. And so, that's why I'm just so passionate about this. But this is just horrible. It makes me so sick to my stomach that the fact that they've raised this much money. So yeah. All right. I'm going to answer some of these questions here. All right. As an Ummah, our priorities are whack. Absolutely. Israel bombed a funeral yesterday. No way. Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm saying. It's like Izzy, you're absolutely correct. We are so focused on these level 2, level 3 boss monsters that have no authority. They have no power within this realm. They are just a disguise for what is actually going on in the real world, as Izzy just mentioned. And this is why it's we should just turn our attention to the true issues, to the true threats of this world, rather than these people that just bark with no bite, for sure. But yeah, I agree. This money will do them no good in this life or the next. Extracting wealth in the most unjust ways will do them absolutely no good. They did not offer a product or a service. They just offered that a complete farce in order to extract wealth from people. Not a single penny. Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best, but not a single penny will do them any protection, and they cannot outrun or hide from Allah Azza wa Jalla. All these people person for yeah, it's so cry. A Muslim must call out the truth when they speak, for sure. I mean, but it's like every time they're just like, dude, these guys are just, they're whoopee cushions, bro. They're whoopee cushions. You sit on them and they fart. Like, I don't know what to tell you. We at some point, you know, the more we engage with them, the more hatred they spew. It's like at some point we just have to honestly understand, like, is it even worth our time? Walaikum salam. These people are annoying. Yeah, for sure. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's up, Dawa dude? Islam has its own tribes, but should stay across the Jordan. It's raw money, for sure. I agree. Yeah, no barakah in it. Yeah, exactly. I absolutely agree with you. We recently saw that the PBD guy with an ex-CIA guy. I just got so embarrassed to hear that how behind we Muslims we got in the enemy just mocking us. Yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure, for sure. Okay, so yeah. Walaikum salam, walaikum salam. Okay, so that was just like my 2 cents that I need to get off my chest. I appreciate you guys all listening and giving you guys your feedback. But yeah, you know, this also like when I see instances like this, the Lily J situation, of course, you know, this IP situation, it honestly inspires me more to make it obligatory on myself to really embrace the Sunnah to the best of my ability and have the best manners as possible. I will slip up. I will make mistakes. I'm not knowledgeable enough to make, you know, these like 1000% claims on things, but I'm still going to try my best, and I'm going to do my best to represent this religion to the best of my ability, especially online, because I know that people will have, you know, very harsh opinions like I do against like all of these other Christians. And so it's fair enough that people might have in the future harsh criticisms of me. I understand that's just the way of the game, right? You know, that's just how it goes. But things of this like this makes me want to work even harder to show that Islam is a true religion. It is the only religion. It is the religion of peace. It is the religion of God. It's the religion of all of the prophets. And we make no distinctions between all of them. And it is the religion that at the end of the day will again be recognized as the truth. And so, yeah, this only inspires me more to become the best version of myself by embracing the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and working with you guys to do as many good deeds as possible. But yeah, Christ is king. If Muhammad was a prophet, I'm a judge. Great. Okay. I mean, yeah, we believe that he is a human king. Okay, cool. So yeah, so the StreamYard is open for anyone who wants to talk. Like I said, I'm very interested to hear what Christians' thoughts are on the Lily J and IP situation. I watched your stuff. I watched your stuff, Penny. Penny Lane. We'll definitely like my advice is, you know, get. Like, I think it's really great. Keep going. Don't stop trying. Never give up. But at the same time, you know, continue to work on your craft. All right. Who's this Mac London guy? Who is this guy? Okay. All right. You have had a channel for a while. That's good. That's good. Did we lose Steve? We banned Steve a long time ago. And so he was just being super annoying. I've talked about it so many times on streams. I know you know you're aloof sometimes, but I've talked about it so many times on stream, where I don't really have much care anymore. But yeah, so here we got a couple interesting things that we're gonna go over. If again the goal is if anyone wants to talk, we have the StreamYard open. The link is in the description. To join the call, link is in the description. Happy to have any conversation, but again, I'm very keen on talking about what your thoughts are on the Lily J and IP situation, and then, you know, how can, you know, we represent our faith to the best of our abilities going forward. No one's silencing you. But yeah. So we're gonna if no. Yeah. No one silenced you, but yeah, you're welcome to come up, Mac 11. If not, no worries. But yeah, we're gonna watch this Muslim Lantern video about confronting atheist tests for blindly accepting evolution. I remember what he said. Yeah, for sure. But I thought no, he hasn't reached out. He did. He did make another account though, and he tried messing around. Here we go. We'll get into it here.
Because it's too much to read.
Yeah. No, like Penny, I watched a little bit of it. It's just, we'll hopefully, inshallah, in the future, we will review your stuff. For sure. But just never give up. Just keep going, bro. There's something there. Just keep going, for sure. The Bible is a visual of words. You don't need to hear me. Okay, great. Thank you. I'll take that advice. Really, I really just hope you repent. Exactly. For sure. Hopefully, inshallah. It's like 150 degrees in my room. I'm dying, but we're gonna do our best to make it through this whole stream.
It's just a little bit, like a little.
Oh, you want a short, like.
Oh, we thought you meant the size of the book. Yeah, we were like. No. We've got. But I think the Quran is relatively short in comparison to other scriptures. The Bible is 3 times.
I mean, when it came to Steve, he was just messaging me like every single day in the morning, bro. Like right at Fajr. It was just like, he was just encroaching on my life, bro. He was encroaching on my life, like that's just where he had to get blocked. He was encroaching on my life, and then he was asking Allah to send me to misguide me, right, with one of his bot accounts. And so yeah, like after all that, he didn't want to apologize. It was just like, okay, then you're gone. Like I was just truly over it.
As big as the Quran, by the way. So if you want, so if you wanted to read the Bible, I'm just saying, it's like 3 times.
New Testament.
Yeah, I've read it.
Have you?
Yeah, and I wouldn't say necessarily you got to read much of it, because the Old Testament, like you have like an entire chapter in the Old Testament. Israel went from this place to that place, and when they went to that place, they went to this place. Okay, there's no like benefit in reading this, right? So yeah, but there are things which are important, like the 5 first books, for example, Genesis, Revelation, and Deuteronomy. Yeah, and there are books that are not as important. But I mean, if you want to think about the purpose of your existence, the purpose of your life, this is the shortest thing that you can think about if this is a manual for your entire existence. I mean, imagine this tells you everything you need to know from the moment.
I will say, I think I've said it a few times, but man, the first 5 books of particularly Exodus through Deuteronomy, it's honestly like it's very Buddhist in a sense, right? There's struggle, like there's a goal, there's struggle, then there's nirvana.
You're born to the.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if Steve just wasn't so up in my grill, it would have been fine. But it was just 24/7, and he would get arrogant. It was just annoying, man. I gave him so many chances to be chill, but it was just time for him to go.
Moment you die. I would say this is like very, very short if you think about it that way, right? Think about small topics like medicine, whatever. You have like an encyclopedia this big to just explain one thing, like an operation or something. So I would say God is like, He's been very merciful with us. He sent us something so small so you can read.
But it's the same, but just a bit bigger.
Same thing, but just the writing is bigger. Yeah. The Quran is the same everywhere you go.
Yeah, we've had some good growth. I know we're kind of talking about, should have kicked him from the get-go for sure. Yeah, but I wanted to that's when I was like nicer about like giving everyone a chance. Now I'm like, mate, my individual piece is way more important than anything else, right? Like I want to be excited to come stream. I don't want to be like angst. Like I don't want to be like whatever. No, Junaid, you're 1000% correct. No, everyone saying that I should have blocked him earlier is 1000% correct. Trust me, I was wrong. I'm wrong many times on this channel. Don't give me... I'll admit it. There's many times where I am wrong. That was definitely one of them. And, and again, because he was disturbing my peace. Like, I want to I want to enjoy streaming. I want to enjoy talking with you guys. And even, yeah, like, I know there's going to be times when, you know, we're going to have, hopefully as this channel continues to grow, some actual conversations with this open forum format. But ultimately, like, if, like, he was just pestering me 24/7, right? It was too much. Walaikum salam soup. He was just pestering me 24/7, and it was just disturbing my peace. Sorry for answering late. I'm gonna fix my printer. Yeah, okay. Yeah. We did Takfir Harper the day she joined on the last day of Ramadan, mashallah. And yeah, don't worry. I have some idea. Don't worry. Once guys. Yeah. Let's watch. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Let's the Steve issue we talk about. I know we have to do like a quarterly report on where's Steve, but until he actually like wants to come back and apologize, then yeah, we won't see him for a long time.
Are you religious yourself? Do you are you Christian? Do you believe in anything, or you're?
I was raised as a Christian.
But right now you'd say culturally Christian. That's it, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. You believe in a higher power, a creator, something like that? You don't believe in a higher power? Really? Okay. But where do people come from? They have to come from somewhere, right? People don't. They have to come from somewhere. People.
Projection.
Projection?
Reproduction.
Reproduction. Ah, okay. Where does the first human being come from? Where does the universe come from?
Well, evolution.
Do you believe in that, really? Genuinely believe in evolution? Okay, have you looked, I'll tell you, we were just talking about this like a few minutes ago. I believe 99% of people believe in evolution culturally, but they haven't studied anything to do with evolution.
That's such a fair point.
So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you know what abiogenesis is?
You know what?
Abiogenesis. Do you know what abiogenesis is? Okay, abiogenesis is the beginning of life, beginning of biological life. Abiogenesis is about biological life, the beginning of biological life. According to the theory of evolution, how did the biological life start?
How did it start?
Yeah, this is the basics of evolution now. How did it start?
It started from like microorganisms in the sea, and then they.
I bet this guy I could just see him being a London rapper, bro. That's awesome.
Start from a single cell organism, right?
In the sea.
How did the single cell organism come about?
You're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking what science says.
I'm not too sure.
Do you know what science says?
No.
They don't know. There's no answer for that question. And you have the biggest propagators for evolution. For instance, Richard Dawkins or his likes. He will say, oh, there's something called theory that maybe aliens came and put life. So you believe in aliens, but you don't believe in God, right? Okay.
That's hilarious. I mean, like, it's funny. Everyone just wants to find just they don't want to concede to the idea that there's an all-powerful creature, or I wouldn't even say creature. There's an all-powerful astaghfirullah. There's an all-powerful entity, and that we actually have evidence. We have 3 books, but then they want to make this obtuse argument that's essentially that delivers the point of what God has given us, but they're now just replacing that word with aliens, which is like honestly the most. So then where did the aliens come from, right? Like that's what it comes like, and that's one of like the worst things you could ever like may Allah protect us from ever questioning where did God come from, because that's something from the shaitan. But then it's like, oh, aliens put life on the earth. Well, then where did aliens come from, right? It just keeps going on and on and on and on.
So why would he say that though? Because you cannot explain rationally the change from chemistry to biology. You cannot explain this. Also, a cell, you know how complex a cell is? Cell is mainly made of what? Do you know what a cell is mainly made of? Protein. Proteins, that's what the cell, yeah. Proteins are mainly made of what? Do you know?
Amino acids.
Amino acids, right? You have different types of amino acids, right? You can say left and right-handed amino acids. Today, amino acids is so unstable that even until today, we cannot use amino acids to create a protein. The cell has millions of proteins. The smallest cell, the bacteria cell, the smallest cell. So you're telling me some thunder somewhere in the sea, and we have like, okay, so we have, let's accept this fairy tale, right? First step in the fairy tale, we have the magic soup, which brought us the first cell. Okay, how does the first cell now?
Why do you call it fairy tale?
Because it's irrational. It's irrational to claim that there is like perfect conditions which cannot happen. Even today, we cannot recreate in a lab. You're telling me randomly happens. We cannot even recreate it in a lab.
Dude, the amount of times I'm just like walking in nature and I just like look at like what's going on. I'm just like for example, like here's one that I was reflecting about this week, right? You know how like with like insects, they have like exoskeleton, right? So their skeleton is on the outside of their body. Like why? like how could that just randomly occur where nature, like a thing that has no brain, right? Just this inanimate theory, whatever you want to call it, like nature, just had the wisdom to create a whole class of biodiversity, a whole class of animals or living creatures that would have a skeleton on the outside of its body, right? Like how that it's so absurd that like one that exists, and two, how could something without no thought have the geniusness to create something like that? I don't know, man. It's just like I'm just like I this whole idea that we come from nothing is just, the more I look at nature, the more I'm like, that's just not possible. It's just absolutely not possible.
Yeah.
So
Walaikum salam, Sad.
using that thing of saying it's just magic and it's a fairy tale.
Yes.
And you can't explain how the first cell is created.
Yes. Not only that, but yeah. Right.
Then how does that explain the fact that God just said, "Let there be life"? A magical, random power, and omni.
All right. Okay. It looks like we have one of our favorite guests on the channel to come join us. I know we're gonna put a pause on the video, but yes, we're. All right. Never mind. He left. All right. We're gonna not put a pause on the video, and we're gonna continue.
Perfect. Perfect.
And then on top of that, he's just gone and taken someone's rib, made some clay, and made a person. How does that justify it?
Perfect question. Now the difference is when we talk about created.
Right, never mind. He joined back. All right. We're gonna bring him up. Whoops. Just give me a second, everyone. But yeah, I think I know what we're going to talk about. But yeah, let's get into it. Hey, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you, my brother?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Yeah, what have you been up to, man?
Just chilling, man. I'm just raging about IP, bro. That's what I've been up to.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, that's a money scheme, bro. They got it, bro.
It's a money scheme, dude. It's such a money scheme that even Sam Shamod, or whatever his name is, called them out, right? You know it's bad when Sam Shamoon is calling David Wood, AP, IP, GL, being like, this is their playbook, bro, and called all of them out for the money scheme.
Listen, bro, this is what I call dark, evil money. You know what I mean? Bro. Yeah, I'm happy they're doing this. They're exposing themselves even more and more, and they brainwash followers. Like, you already know they're gonna just pay for them. You can make up any lies to these cities, and they're just gonna give you money.
You
can just 200.
And have you seen how the original goal was $100,000, then they changed it to like 120, then like 160, then like 180, and then like 200. I'm just like,
well, you can make it $1 million.
Yeah, it really could, and it's just like, I mean, the reason why I rage about this is because, like, one, it's like yeah, like, I mean, he's profiting on the Ummah, you know, making, and first of all, like, dude, like, he is not the first person to ever be doxxed online. Like, this has been going on for years, and, like, you know, nothing really happens from these doxes. They're just, you know, whatever. They're just all just empty threats, ultimately. And he's used, and, like, you know, he's had, what, like, a couple, like, 20-year-old Muslims, like, say, like, just, like, the most bizarre things online, like, I mean, bro, no one's going to actually do anything to him and his wife, obviously. Bro, and he knows
they've been doing this. Sorry if I cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But they've been doing this for years, and nothing happens to them. Like, how? Like, do you think actually someone is just some random guy? You don't even know if he's a Muslim or not. He can hire some people pretending to be Muslims, throw insults at them.
For sure.
Just gonna make you fun. It's simple as that, bro. But I wouldn't say they're profiting of the Ummah. I would say they're profiting of these ignorant followers, you know what I mean? That
for sure.
They just believe any lies and they're told to. But I'm glad they're doing this because it exposes them being frauds. They don't really actually care about the truth. They're just here for the money. They're doing it themselves, you know what I mean?
I agree. I mean, dude, that's the most disgusting 200,000. I mean, and first of all, like, okay, like, yes, $200,000 is a lot of money, but also, like, that is not a lot of money, right? And, like,
it's not.
And you think about it, like, on the day of judgment, like, dude, like, you are, like, that's like 200, like, I don't, like, it's such an unjust way of earning money, right? There's no blessings in it. And you're under the guise of, like, you know, saying that you're being, like, you're receiving Islamic threats. It's just, I couldn't imagine how horrible that judgment would be for just a little bit of money.
People in America, bro, you can insult Islam all you want, all day long. Nothing's happened to you. That's the biggest lie ever. No one is gonna do anything to these liars. They're liars. They know nothing is gonna happen to them, bro. They say the most really vile shit ever to Islam and Muslims. Bro, for years they've been doing this for like
For
50
sure.
years now.
And
Nothing
what
happened.
I heard was like, okay, so again, I don't know, like this is like a chicken and the egg, like how long has this been going on for? But supposedly the reason why this one has like erupted this time is because they said like really like horrible things about Korah. That's what I've heard. That
Yeah, they're filthy, bro. They just come, bro. I don't want to, bro. I don't want. You know me, bro. I'm not like you, man. To be honest, bro. You're too patient.
no, I know, I
I'll be
know.
honest.
We have different.
Ah,
Yeah, you.
bro. Yeah,
I
yeah.
know, I know.
Bro, I don't tolerate this, man, bro. Like about this, the way these filthy people, bro. The nasty things about Cora. They lie about her, make up fake pictures, and claim that's her. You know, make up fake videos, make up fake pictures. They're nasty. They're evil, bro. They're bad. I'm not surprised, bro. That's what Paul of Tarsus. That's his manners. You know,
Yeah,
they just following Paul.
for
I'm not
sure.
surprised. You know what I mean? So the reaction, bro. I'll be honest. In my opinion, is justified. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna disrespect our sister, bro, I don't have zero sympathy for you, bro. You're gonna make that most really vile shit towards her when she did nothing wrong. She just intellectually talking about your religion, dismantling your religion. You get so triggered, you can't refute her.
Yeah,
You have to resort to personal insults and doxing. I
for
just
sure.
weak. Really.
I mean, yeah, I have no like I had no sympathy for it, but now it's like the fact that they're literally extracting wealth from people. I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, what in the actual heck? And then
And
like I said, I when I
if,
found out that they were
if a
saying,
Muslim did this, we would do the same, right? Exactly.
oh
If
yeah,
we
I mean
if
yeah, that's why
Muslims like
everyone's
Prophet,
been
we do the same.
critical of Lily J, right? That's why we've all been like, highly like we've been calling her out too. It's
Exactly.
we because again we don't worship money, right? Like obviously money does a lot. We can do a lot of good deeds with money, right? We don't run away from money. Obviously, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he was a great entrepreneur. So is his first wife. So money, making good money is good, right? But we like at the end of the day, we would trade all the money in the world just to get into Jannah, and it still wouldn't do us any justice, right? But they would trade anything in the world just to make an extra dollar. It's
And
honestly disgusting.
the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, I think, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not going to say verbatim, but I think the Prophet, peace be upon him, said that the greatest threat to this nation is women and money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the greatest threat existing. Temptations of women, temptations of money.
Yeah.
So, bro, it's easy to be distracted. I noticed, bro, like when you get some following in this YouTube world, bro, it's easy to fall into like disbelief. It's easy to fall in because
For
you
sure.
can just, you can think in yourself, yo, I have a lot of people. Let me make up scenario in my mind and benefit from these people and ask them for money. It's easily can be done.
For sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, that's why, like, I mean, I, like, when I see stuff like this, particularly, like, I mean, yeah, like, I guess, I should have been more active about the Lily J situation. Maybe it's because, like, she just didn't, like, she just made, like, whether she was, a real Muslim or not, it didn't mean anything to me, right? I'm like, all right, whatever. She's just posting content. But yeah, the fact that she did extract wealth and didn't and lied about it, like, that's horrific. And like, hopefully she does Toba. Hopefully she donates all of it. If not, obviously that's a grave punishment will be coming. But when I see particularly like Christians doing this under the guise of like Islamist like extremism, it's just like, okay, like, how can I even be better than this? Because I could never ever imagine myself like even like thinking to myself like wanting to use this platform just to extract a couple $100,000 from people, like, because I know that I would have no benefit for me in the hereafter. Not a single penny, not
Right.
even a couple $1,000,000 will have any benefit to me in the hereafter. So why would I even like want to expose myself like that? It's just
It's scary, bro.
it's
Because the
yeah, it's
money,
terrible.
every penny you're gonna be asked for. What terrifies me personally because, bro, it's insane, bro. These people they don't care, bro.
Yeah.
And bro, like, let me give you an example. David Wood, bro, like the greatest, you know what I mean? The PDF file,
Yeah.
with evidence. He himself, he said the worst things about Islam, burning the Quran, saying the most wild shit about the prophets,
Yeah.
every nasty thing you can think of, man. For years, Nothing happened to him. That's a live example of these lies, bro. Like nothing ever happened to him. He never had any threat. He says the worst thing ever about Islam. Bro.
Yeah.
If that would be the perfect example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If anything can happen to these evil people. But yeah, this tells you something, bro. You know, being responsible. But speaking of Lily J, being responsible on her case, man. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
he been calling her out, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Rightfully
He's calling
so,
her out like 24/7, bro. It's insane.
bro. She needs to show because we don't tolerate this, bro. Don't use our religion to allegedly scam people. But I really hope she's innocent. If she's innocent, we're all gonna apologize for her, right?
Yeah.
But if she obviously did these things horrendous, bro, to take advantage of a horrible situation, because the people just need just one single penny. They need just one single bread,
Yeah.
and you're asking for money. If you're not giving these people this money, bro, you're horrible person.
Dude,
Bro.
yeah.
Sorry, you're horrible
At
person.
least with like, okay, like let's say they're both wrong, right? Right. Like let's say Lila J is actually a grifter. Hopefully she's not, right? But like the evidence doesn't look good in her favor right now, right? Like not at all.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
but like, you know, like it's unfortunate because like her situation is probably even worse, right? Than IP, right? Because at least I like, even though like they're both, it's like hard to even compare them and quantify how bad they are. I mean, I don't know which one's worse, like in the terms in terms of like the eyes of Allah as with gel. But the fact that like yeah, like she promised to give money to people who are actually starving, who are like, you know, facing genocide, and then ultimately like just putting it in her pocket, like that is actually just straight up evil.
That's worse. I'll
That's
be honest. I
probably
would
worse.
agree with you.
Yeah.
That's worse.
Yeah, it's probably worse. Yeah, like that's like absolute evil. Like I mean I hate even trying to say this, but at least like IP, he's just like, oh, I need to move houses, which he put his house on the market,
Let me
right?
get. Yeah, it's like let me make advantage of these idiots who fall
Like
get
dude,
money.
put his house on the market. He's gonna make like what, like 500K total selling his house and whatever, and just dude like upgrade, bro. It's just like it's just, but you like I laugh because it's like I mean okay like this is just how I am, right? Like, you know, like I hope all good for all the Muslim influencers online. I know I pray that Allah keeps on the straight path. I pray that Allah blesses them with even more knowledge that they have today. But listen, like if they need money for whatever, like I'm not gonna give it to them. If they ask me to help out with a charity donation, then sure, I would be happy to help, right? But if they need money for any part of their life, it's like, bro, like you have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. You know, you kind of figure it out. You know what I mean? Like that's on you.
Bro.
But it's like, you know, like the fact that this guy just shamelessly has done this multiple times, and you know, some people were donating like a couple $1,000s. Like I would never do that. It's like, dude, I don't care how much money's in my bank account. Like, right, I'm gonna do it to help the poor or help whatever, right? You know, the influencers, right? Like, you know, like I'm just like, how is that even like this guy extracted hundreds of thousands of dollars from these people, right? It just blows my mind that people are actually like this gullible to fall for a trap like this.
This shows their hatred for Islam is more than
That's
love.
true. That's a good point.
I'll be honest. You know. They're willing to live like they're broke. They want to live broke rather than this. You know what I mean? Just lies, spread lies about Islam is more than just living down a piece of life, bro.
For sure.
It's funny, bro. But hey, bro, if they're ignorant, if they're stupid, they can pay for it, bro. Like, you know what I mean? He's taking advantage of these idiots. So.
I mean, dude, like, I saw someone donated $3,000. Dude, $3,000. I mean, dude.
He probably stole money from his dad.
Oh, dude, imagine. I was telling my dad, speaking of dad, I was telling my dad about this. He's like, dude, I would love to see the demographic of all these people that gave them money because this is ridiculous. I mean, bro, like, this is just like the most like 21st century, you know, super church, you know, like situation, bro. It's just like, oh, you know, let me help spread Christianity, but let me buy a brand new house first.
By the way, Max, I'm gonna predict this, and hey, remember everyone, I said it first.
All right, let's hear it.
Don't be surprised if they all start coming out now, all asking for donations because of harassment of Muslims. You know, all of these
For sure.
low IQ apologetics.
Well, dude, like GL, he did it when like I guess like Muhammad Hijab like took down one of his videos, and he raised like when I saw it, it was like $30,000 for lawyers. $30,000 for a video, bro. Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
you're like six,
Like that is crazy.
I think he
$30,000 for a.
went all the way to 60 or something.
You're telling me, dude, like you're telling me that you're gonna raise $30,000 just so you can get one video up back on your channel? Dude, no. He probably said, "Screw the lawyer. I got all the money anyways. Let me just put it in my bank account, bro." No one's gonna.
Yo,
It's one video, bro. Like, are you kidding me? And people gave him like 30 grand. 30 grand.
bro, and I'll be honest, bro. Like, if you were in a position and you're in their position, these low IQ apologetics, you know what I mean? You already, you don't even have faith in your religion. You're just doing it for
Well, that's
money.
what I'm saying, bro.
You're gonna, yeah. So you're gonna make up a scenario in your mind. Hey, let me make a plan. Let me hire, our friends, Christian friends, and tell them, yo, just spread rumors about me, pretend to be Muslim, say the worst thing ever, and just gonna post and ask for donations.
If they here's the thing, right? If they truly believed in their God, right, that their God would protect them from all harm, right, and whether he grants them security in this life or the next, there would be no reason to raise even half a penny, bro, right? But deep down in their heart, they know that their God is a man, right? Because we would have no reason to do something like this, right? We would have no reason to extract this wealth because this wealth is meaningless to us. But every penny to them is so meaningful to their existence, right? And it's tied it's tied to their status, right? And it's just like it just shows me that not even in the deepest part of their heart do they believe that their God can protect them from harm, right? They don't even believe that because they believe that their God is a man.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. And bro, I have no sympathy, like I said, for their followers. Let them, bro. Let them be stupid, and man. Let them pay for these people rents, for your house.
It's just
Let them,
absurd to me.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just absurd to me. But yeah, it's just like, yeah, I was gonna make a video about it because I was just so angry. But I was like, you know what, like, it's not even worth my time. If that's what they're gonna do, that's what they're gonna do. We just gotta keep doing what we're gonna do here. Just trying to gain knowledge and just be the best version of ourselves and just not scam anyone. Like, dude, like.
But
That's all you gotta do.
their motivation, bro. That's their motivation. Then
Yeah.
it just shows you. I promise you, he can pay for it, bro. I mean, he probably can't pay for it,
Oh, for sure.
But he takes a lot of donations every day for the lies and spread about Islam. He never talked about his religion.
Yeah, I
So
guess
he probably can pay for it.
I guess
Yeah.
the main person that was like going against him. I have no idea if this is true or not. I'm just repeating what Twitter says, and Twitter's obviously 1,000% correct all the time. But yeah, some guy was saying that like, oh, IP's having like another baby, so he's like needs to raise all this money to like get a bigger house. And it's just like, dude.
I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah.
Like, man,
And
that's
he
so
needs
dumb.
money. And he made up all this, bro. It's disgusting. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how evil can you be? Just take advantage of these brainwashed followers of you, bro.
Yeah.
They're probably just way poorer than him, bro. They just, normal people. They barely can gather some money, and they just, giving away all their money left to these rich losers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure. Well, anyways, I'm gonna get back to the video here. Is there anything else you want to add before we hop off?
No, I appreciate you.
Of course, bro. Yeah, no,
Have
thank
a
you for
good
coming
day.
on. Yeah, have a great day. Talk to you soon. Yep, assalamu alaikum. All right, yeah, sorry. It's just I'm just like so like yeah. This whole situation's just really bothering me. I'm not gonna lie. But again, it just shows me that we're just gonna be better manners here. We're gonna become the best version of ourselves here, and we're gonna serve God to the best of our ability, inshallah. And like I've done with donations in the past and fundraisers in the past. Wa alaikum salam, Abdullah. Obviously we will continue to do fundraisers every so often, particularly around the times of Ramadan. But like I've done before, I'll share videos. I'll share that I've actually sent them money. I'm going to make sure it's abundantly clear that all the money is going to the places where it needs to go. And it's not just going to be, going into my pocket. But it also makes me like wanting to be even more careful about doing these things in the future. But again, just keeping you guys informed every step of the way. What's going on, Def to Epstein class? All right, we're going to get back into this video here.
living beings, like organisms or cells or whatever. These things are not conscious, right? Water is not conscious. The clouds are not conscious. The rain is not, all of these things are not conscious. So you ascribe human attributes to it when you say they do this or they do that. So I can say that makes no rational sense because these cannot act on their own. They require a cause, they require a reason. Now the creator or God, in our belief or belief of everybody who believes in God, is a rational entity that is eternal. Now without the entity, you and me cannot exist. I'll tell you why. Now you have a universe, right? The universe has, they would say, most scientists would say it's a Big Bang, right? They have a Big Bang. This Big Bang is what? Is energy and matter compressed into something very small, a singularity, which then expanded very quickly into the universe that we have. Now we need an explanation. Where does the energy and matter come from? Number one. What is the cause? Because every effect requires a cause. That's what causality is. It's a law that everything operates under. So what is the cause? Now the answer would
Walaikum salam.
be whatever causes the Big Bang or brings the universe into existence must possess power we cannot even comprehend to compress an entire universe. The universe is full of cells. If you split it, you have a nuclear explosion, right? Atoms, sorry. If you split it, you have a nuclear explosion. The amount of energy in the universe, the knowledge that you need to have gravitational constants, atoms start to form millions of years later, all of these stories like electromagnetic fields, orbits for planets and stars, you need knowledge you cannot even comprehend. So I'm saying by definition, our existence must be a proof for existence.
Yeah, I would say shout out Dean. Like, I've watched one of his videos. We can watch one of his videos after this. Yeah, like one of our mods, Muhammad, and I were just talking about this, and we were talking about the IP situation, the IP grifting situation, and the Lily J grifting situation. Obviously, right, there's a part of us that wants the Lily J situation to not be true, but of course, what she did is beyond evil, right? If it happens to be true and the evidence is not looking good in her favor, then what she did was like beyond evil. Like that is unfortunately, it's way worse than the IP situation. Like, you know, the fact that she's saying that she was going to donate money to people that were like to children that were facing starvation and genocide, and she pocketed it. That is like, you know, that is beyond evil. And it's obviously sad, and it shows that, yeah, maybe there's a case of the simps in this ummah, right? We need to get our people married, man. We need to get our single people married, man, so we don't fall for this. Obviously, I'm just joking a little bit, but yeah, man. We can watch the video after this. Dean is a Salafi, by the way. Alhamdulillah, that's good.
Something beyond our comprehension as human beings, because otherwise you cannot have a universe, it cannot exist, right? So I'm not here talking about fairy tales or anything. What I'm using the product, and the product necessitates that whoever created this had knowledge of language, had plastic materials, had all of, you know that for a fact using the product which is the universe gives us the certainty that whoever created it must possess these attributes. This is what humans refer to as God. So that would be very different now from talking about a rock doing something in its own, right? Because it doesn't have a will, it doesn't have ability, doesn't have agency, right? So it's quite a big comparison. Now, when I talk about evolution, the reason I reject it is because I've studied it. I've looked into it. Now, evolution, the issue is not only abiogenesis, which I'm telling you. Even if we accept the existence of a cell, now
IP is inspiring philosophy. Just awesome. You can look at my previous post from yesterday, and you can figure it out.
You will add absurdities upon absurdities. How does the cell become a living organism? How does the organism become...
And IP, yeah, it stands for Inspiring Philosophy. His real name is Mike Jones. Yeah, you can... I made some posts about it, but essentially he's saying that, you know, people have made some... He's facing Islamic extremism, and he's raised like $200,000 in like a few days, which is absolutely crazy.
Become a living being. How does the living being evolve into, like, every part of the theory itself requires like a imaginary story. So it doesn't start, it's not as simple as just the cell, right? Now also, when we talk to about evidence, this I always say, what is the evidence for evolution? People will say the fossil record. People have no clue about the fossil record. Okay, what is in the fossil record that is proof for evolution?
The what?
What is in the fossil record that is proof for the theory of evolution?
Everyone... it's just like, yeah, dude, like, why is this scam week, bro? It's like, yo, typically in July, it's like Shark Week, right? But it's like, yeah, it's literally Shark Week. Like, we have sharks in the waters grifting everyone. It's like, what are the odds? And it was funny. We have one of our, Christian viewers, James, him and I were in a discussion recently, and he was saying that, like, oh, you know Islam has your fruits. you know, no Christian or Jew would ever scam, you know, the way that Lily J did, and then subhanallah, right? Subhanallah, the whole IP thing happens the next day, or like 2 days later. It's just like, what in the freak? 300 years. Oh yeah, okay, absolutely. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Also, yo, like, hyperstatic, like, when did, like, what's with, like, why is there all this, like, Plato philosophy in Christianity, man? And I mean that from a place of ignorance. I just don't get it.
Say the fossil record is evidence against evolution. Right now, just right now, I can give you, let's say, around 15 to 20 researches on Science and Nature, all of these magazines which accept evolution, right? Where they bring you forgeries. Lucy is a very popular example. Lucy, they will say, they draw all this picture of a monkey, half human, half monkey. Look, oh, look, this was in the human trajectory, whatever. And then in the end, they realize that there is baboon.
Yeah, James has never heard of megachurches. I mean, yeah, exactly.
Bones, they're mixing it with human bones. I can bring you multiple examples like this. But what you learn in the books of biology, I made an entire video of this. They teach you in the books of biology things which have already been refuted a long time ago. For instance, they will tell you, I'll give an example. Do you know what vestigial organs are? Vestigial organs, they will say these are organs left from a previous ancestor. So you had a crocodile or something, whatever is walking, and then now you have the organ left, but it has no use. The organ has no use now. It's left over from a previous, used to be useful, but it's no longer useful. They say that's evidence for evolution. They will use examples like the whale, the pelvis of the whale. But they're wrong, because we know 100 years ago that the pelvis of the whale are used in mating. They're not vestigial organs, they're not useless organs, they're used. They will use other things to do with snakes, the hook of a snake or something like that. And you go back, you find researchers 50 years ago that shows you that they use it for mating as well and use it for fighting. But they claim that's a vestigial organ. You open a medical book.
Yeah, I said subhanallah.
2017.
It's all good.
2018. University is still telling you that this is a vestigial organ. The what is it called? The appendix. We have research showing that it's not a vestigial organ. They still teach you, and the university is a vestigial. So it's built upon a lot of lies, assumptions, and people take it and accept. Oh, that must be true. No, it's not. In fact, Darwin. Have you read the Origin of Species? You know, chapter 6, entire chapter 6 of Darwin's book, The Origin of Species. He said these are the things which will falsify my theory. One of the things that he mentioned was gradualism. Gradualism is like you have a gradual change over time, right?
I'll be honest, while watching this video, I'm just like, even before watching this, I'm just like, I don't even know how people can accept this idea of evolution, man. It's just, as Muslim Lantern is pointing out, it's like we've never seen, evolution with the human eye, ever. We've never seen a jump happen, we've never seen, things evolve internally over time. It just hasn't happened.
Evolving gradually over time. There's something called the Cambrian explosion.
Pentagon Pizza Station is only at Dokkan 2. That's funny. Wow. That's such a random message right now, but that is a goated message. Many secular scientists reject Darwin evolution. Wow. Allah Mubarak. That is like... That's just a random comment that we received, but that is like really funny. Yeah. Well, bro, unfortunately, what's his name? Professor Zhang, the guy who's like a high school teacher that's not a real professor, he predicted this, man. He said that the war wasn't over. They're just, the U.S. was just waiting until it can build its military, its bomb supply once again, and it went back to just shooting bombs at each other. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think this is going to be a good look for America, to be honest. I keep saying this, but it just seems like, yeah, we're back in No, I know what the message means. Yeah, I know what the message means. But yeah, it just seems like we're back in, because yeah, there used to be an app, or there used to be like tracking where, whenever all the pizza places around the Pentagon were like shipping out pizzas, they know that there's going to be like bombing that day or that night, right? Yeah, like, thanks for explaining to me like I'm 5. I appreciate it. But I'm just like, yeah, dude, this is just, I keep saying this, but yeah, this is Persian Empire versus Roman Empire, like 2.0 or 5.0, how many point O's, whatever it is. It's just like absurd that it's just, we're back at it again. There's a Muslim militia in the middle of these two massive empires, and it's just going to be down bad probably for everyone involved. Well, alaikum salam, what's going on? Hash, good to see you. I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Hopefully you're doing well.
You know what the camber explosion is. My point is, when I mention these things, this is what I said to you in the beginning. People don't know about evolution, right? They just wholesale believe it. So, camber explosion, we found so many fossils of advanced creatures deep within the earth. Because the deeper you go, the earlier back.
What I noticed about the majority of atheists is that they accept evolution, is that because it's an easy form for them to escape accountability. Yeah, it's fine. I'll do X, Y, Z. God doesn't exist, so nothing happens. Yeah, facts.
You go in history. So they should be less evolved the deeper you go, right? But we're seeing things like tribulites, very advanced ants, and this is an issue because no longer we don't have.
Saying it's more evolved is subjective. It's more adapted to its environment. Maybe its environment changes and therefore it changes. You can't say it's more evolved because it has more complex things when maybe the environment it needed to be in changed and therefore it's evolved to adapt to its environment.
But that is a refutation of what you're doing now is you're refuting gradualism. Gradualism assumes that the changes happen. Yeah. So what you're saying to me, I agree with you. I don't have a problem with what you're saying, but that goes against gradualism. That's why they came up with a new theory, right? Whenever the evidence goes against what they believe in, they say let's change the theory, right? But that's not how science works. So they came up with punctuated equilibrium. You're like, they use these very difficult terms, so they make people laymen think, that's very complicated for me to study. No, it's just a term. They're like, we have quick changes and gradual changes. Okay, you just came up with an excuse to try to refute, to come up with an answer. But Darwin believed they would falsify his theory. Gradualism was refuted, right? So now that's why you have all of these different theories of evolution as well. Now there's like something called the third wave or the third wave of evolution, like a big group of scientists that say that we're skeptical about evolution. Like they wrote a statement, like 1,000 over scientists or whatever. They're not religious people, and they said we're skeptical that this idea is just a fact or whatever.
Right, actually, I want to look this up. Third wave evolution, right? Third wave evolution. Did you finish? I did. I did finish that book. Yeah. I would say, yeah, there are many things that I like. There's many things that I was already doing. There's many things that I don't know if I necessarily agree with, but I think that's okay, right? I think it's okay. Like, ultimately, when it comes down to it, it comes down to, are you practicing the sunnah to the best of your ability? Who is your prophet? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, of course, and taking the middle path. But, yeah, when did you start that? I finished that like a month ago. Yeah, I finished that about a month ago. So, okay, third wave evolution, also called extended evolutionary synthesis, is an emerging set of evolutionary theories that seeks to expand beyond traditional neo-Darwinian model by integrating modern molecular and cellular biology into a more comprehensive account of how life changes over time. MashaAllah. Okay. Yeah, I would say, yeah, send me one on Discord. I'd be happy to look at a new one. I was reading one. What was I reading? It was called like 3 Principles or something like that. The 3 Fundamental Principles, or something like that. Yeah, thank you for coming, Izzy. It's always good to see you. May Allah Azza wa Jalla put blessings in everything that you do. But yeah, definitely, if you have one in mind, I'm happy to go over it for sure, inshallah. Why it emerges, because I'm not reading one right now. Neo-Darwinism, the modern synthesis of mid-20th century, explains how a small genetic changes accumulate over generations under natural selection. It works well with microevolution, changes its genes frequencies, but struggles to fully explain macroevolution. I'll be honest, guys. I did not take science classes in college for particular reasons because I just didn't care. Yeah, no. If you have a book in mind, send it to me on Discord, and I'm definitely happy to read it for sure, inshallah. I read like 3 Principles of Islam or something like that. 3 Fundamental Principles. I've read this one by Ibn Ibn Abbas, or Ibn Abba, what's his name? Or Ibn Bata, yeah. I finished that one. I read that book. Yeah, I'll be honest. Science just that dude. Even as a kid, science just didn't do it for me because I was like, well, God, that was always me. Like I was always really good in all my classes, except for science. Science I was always the worst in. It depends on what science that we were learning about. I liked like I kind of like life science. I really liked astronomy. Or whatever, astrology. No, astronomy. I really liked astronomy. But yeah, pretty much I was like never a big fan of science. Science was always just whatever. Like this video is like not really doing it for me. I'm not gonna lie. But hey, we'll yeah, we're gonna go on the next one. We're just gonna we'll go into the Lily J situation. Dean responds to a new video about Lily J. Wow, it is like 1,000 views in my room, guys. Dean responds Lily J. You're always getting science? Yeah, science was not for me. Let's see. Alright, yeah, this one, the fake news one. We'll go into this one.
Have you ever heard?
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, that video was not doing it for me. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I was trying to force it, but it just was not doing it for me. Did you watch Cliff? Yeah, I would say I have a video. My most recent long form video. I reacted to it.
Heard of statements like, well, Lily J, she got attacked by Donald Trump. Isn't that so convenient that only now do people start attacking her? It's from the Matrix. Or for example, well, Lily J does so good for the Ummah. She interviewed Anne Hathaway when she said Inshallah and got her closer towards Islam. Well, if you heard any of these statements or even bits of information from each of those stories, then you've been fooled. Both you and the people you're listening from. This is exactly what we're going to be going through in this video. The Lily J files just got weirder. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, guys. As you guys saw from the intro, we're going to be looking at some weird stuff. So to begin with, we have to actually introduce quote-unquote fan account called lilyj.updates. This quote-unquote fan account just so happens to be located in the same place where Lily J is located from, and that's Cyprus. Although now her account is banned on Instagram, it just so happens to be that this account is also banned. So this account, her foundation page, her Instagram, and her quote-unquote daughter's Instagram, all of them were banned simultaneously. Now, this...
You almost donated this woman once. Good. I'm glad you didn't. Did I read Kitab Taid yet? I have not read that one. Yeah, I've not read that one. He needs to play it out a little bit longer. Oh yeah, mashallah. I prefer you react about the video series by Omar the Oriental about the history after the Prophet's death. I did react to one of those videos recently.
Quote-unquote fan account was already under my radar for a while now. It's actually currently in some archives I have with a bunch
I know this is drama. We're gonna watch this one drama video, then we're gonna go back to the most we're gonna watch this one drama video, and then we're gonna go into this video here. Inquisitive, agnostic, grills Muslim on cousin marriage and racism in Islam.
of photos and videos that I'm going to be presenting today. Trust me, all of this is relevant to the intro that I started with. So besides the fact that this, fan account was made in Cyprus, what we also find is a bunch of AI slop. And who likes to use AI slop, you might ask?
Yeah, I would say for any book recommendations, send them to me on Discord. I'm not going to remember them from the chat. Just letting you guys know. But yeah, add me on Discord and then send me any recommendations that you have. Inshallah.
Oh, we know by now it's Lily J and her team. So for example, I'm going to blur this out because they're just wearing such tight clothing. You have them, meeting up at the Met Gala in 2026. As you can see from the background, this is AI generated, AI manipulated. I wouldn't be surprised if they never went to the gala, actually. Furthermore, we have them at
Dang, another AI generated dude. Yo. Yeah. I've said this before, like, do you follow the South now? I don't accept these subcategory titles. Yeah. No, inshallah, we can go to Omar the Oriented another time for sure. Inshallah. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I'm just a Muslim.
Real Madrid and Barcelona game. The time isn't even moving for the game.
The time isn't even moving.
It's just so clearly AI generated, man. I mean, just on the eye, it's very easy to tell. Now, there's a bunch of other AI slop that I didn't get to save from it. But as you can tell, it's really bad. But it doesn't stop there. When you just thought her narcissism couldn't get any higher, she beats new records. So this fan account gives the idea that you can send them videos of you videoing Lily J in some random regions, and you can submit it to their DMs, and then they'll upload it. But obviously, this is just her team.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I like these books. I really like philosophy, and I like learning for sure. But yeah, when it comes to like these subcategories and tuck-fearing everyone, that's not my business. I'm not in the tuck-fear business. I'm never gonna be in the tuck-fear business. That's not something that I particularly think is a good idea personally. Especially, I know I can already like feel the clown statements coming in, but it's like I'm a like the truth of the matter is like I'm a revert. I'm a Muslim, right? I think these books are really, obviously there's a proper way to understand the religion without a doubt, for sure. And I know I have so much to learn about it, for sure. But at the same point, the religion should be easy for most people. The religion should be easy for most people. There's very simple things that you can do every single day to be a good Muslim. Obviously, it's obligatory on us to gain knowledge. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to tuck-fear anyone. If anyone's going to say someone is not a true Muslim, that is Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who can tell people they're Muslim or not. It's not going to be Max Ronquillo. It's not going to be me. I'm not going to do it. So, so that's why it's like when it comes to these tribal ideas, when it comes to like, picking out, like, saying who's who, who's what, that's just not, I'm not in that business. I'm not in that business. And yes, I know we have the idea of Ibrahim, I don't care to judge. I think that's what you need to understand, right? You can judge, you can do whatever you want. I'm not your dad. I don't care what you do, right? I don't care what your opinions are, right? I'm just telling you what I'm going to do, right? I think that's just what you guys need to understand. I'm just telling you what I'm not going to do, what Max Ronquillo is not going to do. I'm not going to sit here and fiddle between, who created the heavens and the earth? Was it just God, or was it God and the angels, as you guys might have saw on my Discord channel? Are we going to go about the pronouns we or us? Are we going to get deep into that? Are we going to get, obviously there's a reason why I'm not a Shia, right? There's obviously a reason why I'm not a Shia. It's read Surah Al-Fatiha, there's no way you can be a Shia. And this is and again, I know the scholarly opinion is that we can't say our opinions, but I just did, right? So there's a reason why I'm not a Shia, right? These books are very interesting for sure, and there's a lot of knowledge that I need to learn, alhamdulillah. But Max Ronquillo is not in the business of tuck-fearing anyone. I'm not going to do it. I don't care to do it. I like my life how it is. I'm a happy guy. I'm going to make videos, and I'm going to enjoy myself. But I'm not going to say you're wrong, I'm right, or I'm wrong, whatever. It's just I don't care. Yeah, it just doesn't matter to me. It's just not important to me. I've read your post. I've read your post. Ibrahim, you could do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. I'm not your dad. I don't care. But I'm not in the business to tuck-fear people. That's just me.
Supporting her. I mean, how narcissistic and self-centric can you get, man? This is crazy. Like, I'm actually getting uncomfortable seeing this now. So as you can see, Lily J and her supposed daughter are being recorded.
Yes. After our little skedaddle, I went to see what your channel, I went to go look at your channel. I read one thing. I hope you know, Ibrahim, I don't care about what's going on with what you post. But the day we had our little scuffle on YouTube, I checked out your channel, and I saw you had a massive post, and I skimmed through it, and I'm like, all right, that's great. Absolutely, yeah, Hash, for sure, yeah. I mean, I believe in God. I believe in all of his prophets. I believe in all of his books. I believe in his creations, and I believe on the last day, right? You know, that's just what's important to me.
From afar. I mean, trust me, no one's going to be trying to record Lily J from afar like this. She
All right,
literally
all right, sorry. Okay. We're gonna get back locked in onto this, and then we're gonna move on to the next thing, to Muslim's other video.
has celebrity status at her grasp, and yet her and her team still are trying to manufacture an artificial way of getting clout. And this is going to be a consistent theme when I mention stuff like, you know, her daughter not really being her daughter, her brother not really being her brother. But for now, we're just
Wait, her daughter's not really her daughter? No way.
Get into this weird trend, this weird trajectory that her and her team are on, where they literally fabricate things in the media to try and boost her amount of clout. So a lot of this is actually artificial. Trust me, no one's recording
Walaikum salam. Where do I think Allah is? My best answer is that he's above the throne.
Lily J and her supposed daughter from afar like this. Like, you're not that guy. I'm gonna be dead serious with you. This is like next levels of narcissism, I'm telling you. Now, it gets even worse than that, guys. A lot of people are actually telling me, wow, Lily J did a lot of good, you know, speaking to Anne Hathaway and so on. And you know, I believed it for a second until I double checked the source of that info. Now, what do you know? This fabricated magazine saying that there's an exclusive interview between Lily J and Anne Hathaway is fabricated by her team.
So this is not even a real thing? To be fair, that doesn't really, yeah, you could tell that that's not really her face.
Lily J updates. Isn't that crazy? I mean, we're dealing with like an actual sociopath here. This is getting actually disturbing. So just to give this a bit of context, Anne Hathaway in one of her, I think, interviews said the word inshallah. So of course, Lily J and her team had to hop on that and fabricate some material to deceive the ummah and deceive the Muslims into thinking that she actually interviewed Anne Hathaway. So you just have to
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. Yeah, may Allah bless everyone in the chat. Alhamdulillah.
imagine how much is Lily J actually fabricating and how much is actually real.
The link is in the description.
The lines between reality and fakery is too blurred now. Some things you think that Lily J did 2-3 years ago, in reality might just be produced by her media team. And that's really weird and disturbing. And finally, like I mentioned in the intro, even the Donald Trump tweet is fabricated by her team. Now, I'll give evidence for that in just a second. First, let's read the tweet. Lily J is a total disaster for the West, and frankly, she's a very big threat to our great American values. She has now become the face of Islam, which no, she's not, targeting our Western little girls and trying to force them into modesty. It's a complete and total disgrace. We want freedom, not burqas in the United States. Believe me, she's a fraud. First a fake pop star, now.
So wait, she made this. Okay, why would? So Lily J is a total disaster for the West, and frankly, she's a very big threat for our great American values. She has now become the face of Islam, targeting. First of all, he doesn't even care. Like, how would he even know she exists, bro? She has become the face of Islam, targeting our Western little girls and trying to force them into modesty. It's a complete and total disgrace. Why? What? She's a narcissist. Unfortunately, I think that's the case. We want freedom, not burqas in the United States. Believe me, she's a fraud. First, a fake pop star, now a fake Muslim. Zero talent, not pretty enough. To be fair, like, this is honestly hilarious, though. Because guess what? This is totally true. What's funny about this AI-generated tweet that she made of Donald Trump, it's actually 100% true. She is a fraud, first a fake pop star, now a fake Muslim, zero talent, not pretty enough for Hollywood, so she hides behind a scarf, a total flip-flopper. Yo, it's crazy how this fake AI-generated Donald Trump tweet manifested to become true. That's crazy. And then she's the one who posted it.
A fake Muslim, zero talent, not pretty enough for Hollywood, so she hides behind a scarf, a total flip-flopper, President Donald Trump. Now, obviously, this is not how Donald Trump actually speaks. Anyone can tell that's ever read any of his tweets. This narcissistic woman believes she's so important.
She said it to herself. I know, dude, that's crazy. It's crazy how it manifested to be the actual truth. That's so funny.
That Donald Trump should be speaking about her. And now you see people like this guy, this brother, and I'm sure he's a wonderful brother, very nice brother, just trying to, you know.
Is far, but Trump, Lily, okay, is worrying, but. All right, okay, we have someone who entered. Okay, we're gonna put a pause on this. We had someone enter. All right, okay, are you ready? All right, we have someone that has entered the chat. Hello,
Yo, what's up, man?
What's going on? How are you?
I'm good, man. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for first of all, thank you for taking the time to join. Do you have a religious background? Like, can I get a little bit of details about just who you are as a whole?
Yeah, I'm a convert to Christianity.
Okay, cool, nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. My religious background.
When did you convert to Christianity?
That was a year ago.
Okay, and then were you any religion beforehand?
Nah, I was agnostic, pretty much.
You're agnostic. Okay, cool. And so, yeah, what I want to do is, we're gonna keep this civil to the best of our ability, right? I'm not here to debate you or argue with you. You obviously came the time to join, and I want to show you absolute respect and honor in that. And I hope you share the same with me. But I guess,
Yeah.
is there anything that you want to share? The fact that you've now joined this chat.
I honestly have no clue, man. I just joined because I just saw it was like open
Okay,
stream.
cool.
I'm not sure what the topic is even.
I mean, it could be anything. And
We just-
so, one thing that I was talking about today was like, I mean, do you know about the whole like grifting situation? I mean, we don't even have to start here, but like the whole Lily J or, inspiring philosophy situation, or like, is there anything in particular that like does that excite you to talk about something, or would you rather talk about something more theological or political, even like what's going on with the Iran war? Like, is there anything that like seems like you are more interested in? If you're speaking, I can't hear you right now. All right. All right. Are you there? I'm going to remove you if. Okay. Okay. Anyways, maybe he'll join back. Hopefully. But yeah. So many people died in the cross. All right. Okay, he's gone. Well, it was fun while it lasted. That was fun while it lasted. We'll see if he joins back at some point. I don't know. Maybe his internet got cut off, whatever. But okay, that was the most excitement we've had so far. That was the most excitement we've had so far on one of these calls. Alhamdulillah.
Give the benefit of the doubt to a Muslim, what you see is this person is literally using this point as a defense against her, not knowing this is actually ammunition against her, because this is fabricated from a very team that's fabricating all of these.
So for others, facts. I mean, I say that jokingly. It's just, look, there's different strokes for different folks, right? It doesn't mean like, I know there's gonna be people that disagree with me. I'm gonna disagree with others. I try to be very careful about banning people because, yeah, I think I do like this idea of freedom of speech for sure. Which topic do you have the most knowledge? Do you have knowledge on the most? That's a good question. I mean, I would honestly say for myself, and this is just being like super realistic, right? Like I'm just being 100% honest. I wouldn't say I'm an expert on anything, right? I think it's abundantly clear that that's just the truth, right? I'm not like a massive expert on anything, but I think I have decent enough knowledge to talk about many topics, and that's how I've always been in my life, right? That's how I've always been in school. That's how I've always been in, like if I were to go like to say like if I had to pick one topic, which I know no one would talk about, it would probably be more about like economic policy kind of. But even then, I haven't really studied it in the past few years. But I'm talking about like deep economic philosophy, like Keynesian theory or like Hayekian theory, like Lockean theory, all of that stuff. But when it comes to like religious, like I think I have pretty decent like if I had to give myself a grade, I would say B minus to B plus range. I wouldn't say like A plus or A minus. I would say like B minus to B plus range on many different theological topics. Maybe there's a couple C pluses, D minuses, whatever here and there. But I think on the overall score, probably I'd give myself like a B, right? I'm just being completely honest, right? I'm not obviously a scholar or student knowledge or anything. but yeah, I think it's important to have conversations though. Maybe we can come together. I think he might have been a little afraid of prime time, but it happens. Hopefully he joins back and we can have a lovely conversation. He seemed like a very genuine guy, so alhamdulillah.
Things. It's very sad, and yet it's the reality of the situation. I mean, it just has to be said. Obviously, no one's really documenting this stuff. No one's talking about it. I'm the only one that's really dug this deep, and trust me,
I would honestly say, and I know I've said this before, and people get upset. I wouldn't say people get upset, but I find I'm very passionate about just reading the Quran. I'm very passionate about. Obviously I accept the hadiths, and trust me, I'm very excited to share my next project with you guys here soon in the next couple months, hopefully by the end of August. But I'm very passionate about reading the Quran, learning how to recite the Quran properly. That's something that I'm super passionate about in this religion. I think the Quran is beautiful. I think the Quran, especially recited, is the most beautiful thing. Not necessarily the way it sounds. Obviously, it sounds wonderful, but when you this is my own like anecdotal evidence, so this is not to be taken to be true or not, but when I recite the Quran properly, my heart honestly feels good. Like my heart feels so good and warm, and it just makes me like, and again, this is emotional begging for sure. I'm not saying like this is not evidence. This is just an emotional, statement here. But yeah, like reciting the Quran and learning the Quran and how to recite it properly, it's what I'm really passionate about. All right, we got back. Alhamdulillah. All right, yeah, hopefully we can have a great conversation with him. All right, you're back on? Is everything good?
Yeah. My laptop died.
Yeah, no worries.
That's what.
I guess, do you have any questions about Islam? I'm not knowledgeable, and this is not dawah, by the way. I'm not going to convince you of the religion. But I just think it's the reason why I wanted to start this is because I want to, like, hopefully have, like, with all the toxicity online, I think we need to, like, start finding areas where, we have more in common, where we can come to a solution rather than, like, be angry at one another. I know that's, like, probably, like, I'm hoping for a lot here, but that's what I want to do with this, this segment here. And so I guess my question is to you, like, what inspired you to join? And do you have any questions about Islam at this time?
Yeah, no problem, man. We'll be peaceful.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, so I don't know. For me, like my conversion was mainly first spiritual, honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't even know any like I knew some doctrines of Christianity. I didn't know much.
Yeah.
But then I don't know how to describe my spiritual experience. I guess it was just more peaceful, I guess, in like a stressful time.
For sure.
And then so I just like dedicated a lot of my time to, just studying Christianity.
Yeah.
And then I found like I think it's coherent enough. I think in general it's good, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a truth.
Okay. I mean, yeah, like, I'm an advocate that society needs more God, right? Society needs way more religion. I think there's this one author, he wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He had this tweet that I really liked, and it said that, there's 4 different intelligences in this world, right, for humans, right? There's emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, mental intelligence, physical intelligence. Most people have a handle on, like, mental and physical intelligence, but no spiritual or emotional intelligence. So, I think it's good that, that people are hopefully searching for more religion and then finding out what the truth really is, right? And of course, like, what the truth is to you. And so I guess my question is that what was the most convincing thing to you for Christianity?
I think the life of Jesus is pretty well documented in the Gospels. I think we have good evidence for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's some good like prophecies as well. I think the fact that, Christ was like always the in the Old Testament I think it presents a pretty well like Christology of Jesus Christ, like him being like the angel of Yahweh, for example. I think that's pretty good. I think yeah, I just think it's the Gospels are well preserved. I think there's good evidence for that. Yeah, I don't know.
And then I guess how do you feel about how Islam has obviously one of our major prophets is Jesus, son of Mary, right? And he is countlessly talked throughout the Quran as the Messiah. How does that make you feel?
Um, yeah, I know that Muslims respect Jesus. They believe he's born from like a Virgin Mary. They believe a lot of things. You guys believe in the miracles, of course, of like Jesus. I don't know, man. I guess the rejection of like the divinity of Christ and just like the crucifixion. I don't think that is logical. I don't think it can follow.
For sure.
That's the thing. Yeah.
And so I guess one question for me is because like I grew up from a Christian background, right? And so for me, even when I was young, like, and I went to like a Christian school, right? So I went to Christian school. I was very familiar with the Bible. One thing that was always hard for me was having the understanding that Jesus could be God, right? That was just something that I did just struggle with. I could have believed he was the Son of God, but thinking that that he and the Father and the Holy Spirit were all one entity just didn't. My brain could not comprehend that. Particularly, right? There's like verses like Hosea 11:9 where it explicitly says that God cannot be a man. So I guess my question here is like, how can you justify that there's positions in the Old Testament, particularly like in the book of Numbers and like Hosea, where it says that Jesus can, like, where God cannot be a man. Like how does that how can you reconcile something like that?
Yeah, so I think you're like mentioning Numbers 23:19
Hmm.
says God is not a man that he should lie, right?
Yeah, and it's repeated in
Well,
like
I don't
Hosea 11:9.
yeah, I understand. I don't think it contradicts the divinity of Jesus. I think like you if you want you can like pull up the passage, but I think when you look at the just entirety of like the Hebrew Bible, like Genesis, Exodus and everything. I think, well, obviously you see like in Genesis, like God is like you when obviously when Adam and Eve sin, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says like in Genesis that God is walking, right? He like uses these human like features of God. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that is necessarily talking about like he can't take on like flesh. It just says God is not a man that he should lie. Obviously, we know that Jesus did not sin at all, so it's just talking about he doesn't sin. I'm pretty sure because humans obviously sin. We're born with a fallen nature, so I think it's just talking about that.
Okay. And so yeah, like your thought process here is that because there's some like human qualities to God in these places, right? That is where you can justify the idea that he can be God.
Uh, can you repeat that one more time?
Because yeah, I said like because there's like certain places like in Genesis where there's qualities that show that he could potentially have human qualities like such as walking. That's how you can justify these verses that he is God, or that God can be man and man can be God.
Oh, there's more to that. I mean, that's a very simple way to put it, but like I think if you just look at like the Son of Man or the Angel of Yahweh, I think obviously Christians interpret that to be Jesus. I think it's very clear that those figures are like receiving worship and they're like clearly presented as divine because like if you look at for example like Joshua 5 where this mysterious angel of the commander like Joshua like worships him and obviously that would be idolatry unless he would be worshiping God. So I think it's like a manifestation. I think the angel of Yahweh is just a manifestation of God. It's like a pre-incarnate Jesus. I don't think those like contradict honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like all the different like words for worship, I think there's like 11 in the entire Bible, right? There's like 4 Greek, 4 Hebrew, and like 3 Aramaic, right? And they all have like different use cases, right? Some are used for idols, some are used for humans, some are used for angels, right? Like there's a lot of like specifically like there's one where people worship David, I believe. There's even some in I think Genesis about the like people bowing down to angels as well. And so, and it seemed like there was a lot more bowing down in the Old Testament when it came to these words, right? And so, when it comes to the train of thought, where it's like, okay, looking at like what all of these words like are, what they mean, and how they're attributed to, and if they're used for humans, gods, or angels, right? And so I actually made a video about this, and it tracks to me where Jesus in particular, people did bow down to him, but every single time they did bow down to him, it was a word that was never used for God, right? It was always used for like a human king, and that also then again tracks in the Old Testament as well.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're arguing that like worship, I mean, it can just mean like reverence for like other people, so it doesn't necessarily mean that God is being received with that worship. Is that
Like
essentially what you're arguing?
what I'm saying here is that there's particular words that are used directly for only God to be bowed down to, right? I mean, the biggest one in Greek, because that's the best one I can remember right now, is latrero, right? That's like the classic argument. And then, the biggest word for that Jesus receives a lot is like proskuneo, right? Those are like the two main Greek words for receiving worship or like, giving worship to. And there are multiple times where like, Jesus does receive this proskuneo word, never receives the latrero word. I even think there's a part where in the New Testament, when they were referring back to the time of Goliath, he received a divinity type of bow down word. I think it was even latrero as well. And so, yeah, I just me personally, I'm not convinced of these, these worship words, considering that when you look at them, Jesus just he just never received a divine level of worship when it came to these the grammatical contexts of all these words.
Okay, yeah, I see. Like, I know, like Abraham, for example, Jacob, for example, like he bowed down to the ground like 7 times to his like brother.
Yeah.
I know, like Joseph, like his brothers also fell down. So those can be examples of simply just like reverence. They don't mean
For sure.
like worship. But for Jesus, however, I think again, if you just look at Joshua, it says like in Joshua 5:15, you can like if you want, you can pull up the passage if you want. Like it says, take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is like holy. I think that parallels like the Exodus story where God, directly speaks from Moses from the burning bush. So I think it like the author of Joshua is like equating this worship to like the Exodus story. So I think that's like a good argument of Jesus receiving like actual worship here.
But yeah, I mean, but then you're giving the authority that is actually Jesus, right? Or that this angel of God is somehow Jesus. And so, yeah, I mean, I hear like the logical jump that you're trying to make, but it's just not something that's sound to me, but I understand where you're coming from. And so I guess, I guess now just to bring it home on like this, like with what's going on like in the ecosystem, right? With like all of these like wars and like, hate events and whatever, especially online, how do you see like the relationship between like, all the different religions, working going forward? Like, what are your thoughts or what are your hopes around that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, man, it's not going too well in the online world
For sure.
between Muslims and Christians. It definitely is not going well. I mean, I don't know, man. Everyone is just like, we're just all like accusing each other. We're all just doing one. I don't know. There's like more fuel to the fire, I guess, nowadays between Muslims and Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know I don't think it's gonna get better anytime soon.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have plenty of Muslim friends myself in
Nice.
school, so I'm not against Islam or anything. I think most Muslims are pretty, I agree. Like the overwhelming amount of Muslims are pretty chill. obviously there's extremists. Obviously, there's extremists on both sides in like any group particularly. But yeah, I mean, I know like even in the Bible, Jesus said you should be aware of these false teachers, like wolves in sheep's clothing. So it's not necessarily a problem for us. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you say that, do you just mean like people in general, like trying to, teach people religion as a whole, and under the guise of like that this is the truth, but then being sinister in the background? Like what was your thought when you brought up that verse here?
Yeah, I mean that verse is in particular. I think it's Matthew 7:15. I'm not sure. I'll have to pull it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, watch out for false prophets. I think in general, I mean, in general, it just talks about. I think it's Jesus addressing like the Christians in general, mostly, but I think it can be applied to any other group as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, like I mean, I've on this channel I've been, to a fault, been extremely critical of even especially the Muslim influencers online, because of like, just some of their actions, and so. But again, I've also been extremely critical of the Christian influencers online. And I mean, I think it's really disappointing when people try to use the quote unquote their love for God to either profit or to scam or to incite hate. Like, I find that's like, it's extremely cringe, super unbearable, and and it's honestly very disappointing when I see that happens.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, I guess, like, are you in, like, I'm assuming you're like in like a Western country, right?
Yeah, I'm in Canada.
You're in Canada, okay. And so, yeah, I guess, one, what are your thoughts on like the relations between like the U.S. and America?
Um, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, if you're like aware, like there's some wildfires going on between
Yeah.
like the U.S. and Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not sure. All I've been hearing is just propaganda mostly.
Yeah.
I'm not into like the political kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
But
For
I,
sure.
I don't know. The U.S. could be doing a lot better. I don't think the U.S. is doing good at all.
Yeah.
Just in general with like the Middle East, it's not going good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, and I hope, like, I don't mean this as a dig towards you. I guess, what are your thoughts on like, this is a political question, I guess. And so maybe this might be a little bit difficult, right? But it seems that in particular, right, you know, Donald Trump ran under like a Christian platform, right? And like these evangelist Christians funded his campaign as well as like Zionism as well, right? And obviously we're in like this like really tragic war, like in multiple wars, honestly. And so like what are your like what are your thoughts on I guess what Israel's doing? What are your thoughts on Trump using this idea of Christianity as a platform? Like do you have any like particular thoughts about this at all?
Yeah, Trump is. I truly believe Trump is an antichrist. I don't think. I mean, he's just using Christianity just to like gain more like followers, like to I guess because obviously like Christians want to support other Christians, and same with Muslims.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to gather more like Christians to fuel his agendas.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, with the Israel stuff, yeah, is Israel and Palestine war, I 100% condemn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Zionist, of course, because the Jews are not the chosen people in
Yeah.
my worldview. I
Yeah.
think it's the Church of Jesus Christ
Mm-hmm.
that is. Those are like the chosen people, not the chosen. I meant like they're like, uh, how do I say this? Like those are like the believers. I think.
I understand your point.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man.
Because
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Trump is an antichrist for sure. I think.
I would say because yeah, like when I look at a lot of these prophecies, particularly like the ones in Isaiah, I'm not saying like I know a couple like I've been really looking into one more recently, um, you know, but I when I look at some of these prophecies before, a lot of them, as Christians would say, they point to like Jesus, you know, the resurrection event, obviously, you know, but when I look at them like even as like a future event, particularly like with the state of Israel, this idea of like the greater Israel plan, you know, like is, and then like, you know, there's a lot of ideas about like Trump, as you mentioned, he's like an antichrist figure, you know, some people might, you know, say he's like a, one of the first Jewish messianic figures as well, you know, like, how does that make you feel that there is this, like, especially from the evangelist Christian side, there is this push for like a greater Israel plan, you know, pushing towards like this Armageddon type of idea that's happening right now in the world. And they're using like, you know, they're using like, you know, different prophecies, particularly like from like Isaiah, like to justify these actions as well.
Well, I think that just connects back to Matthew 7:15. Honestly, I don't know what else to say. I mean, obviously, like, yeah, I'm not too sure, man.
That's a fair response. Do you like? I guess just for like, you don't have to share this if you don't want to, but do you like, what sect of Christianity do you follow? Oh, all right. I guess I asked him the wrong question. Maybe his computer died again. That's funny. All right. Well, yeah, you know, like, you know, decent conversation, right? You know, I shared a little bit of my points. I didn't want to go too deep on some of this stuff, to be honest. You know, oh, he's back. All right. We're going to have him finish this one question, and then we're going to go into it. We're going to be back in the video. All right.
Yep. Yeah, sorry about it. You asked what
You're good.
denomination?
Yeah, the final question here. And then we'll end it here.
I'm currently like non-denominational. I don't go to a particular church right now.
Yeah.
But I'm planning to go Orthodoxy probably.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Cool. And then I guess, you know, actually final question. You know, again, this is not Dawa. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a sheikh. You know, but do you have any like questions about Islam or things that you've heard that you want clarified? Is there anything, like maybe even critiques? Is there anything that I could potentially clarify to you right now if I do have the answer for you?
I'm not. I know, like, obviously, I'm like one of those people. You know, the Islamic dilemma. I think it's, you know, I think it's a good argument if I'm being honest. But
yeah,
obviously, but yeah, you probably don't think it's a good argument, but
yeah,
I think like the Quran's like stands on the scriptures. It's pretty clear that they're not corrupted. They're authoritative. They're preserved. And then the Injil and Torah and all like those scriptures, they possessed like contemporary to like Muhammad. I think that's just a good argument, man.
Okay, sure. I'll give you my response to that, and then yeah, like, you know, like I said, we're not gonna get too deep into this. You know, you're a brand new Christian, I'm a brand new Muslim, right? So we're not gonna, you know, first of all, I really appreciate your time, and your respect, right? You know, I know we believe in different gods, but I hope the best for you, right? And so, you know,
likewise.
Thank you. But yeah, you know, so there's this verse, you know, if you want to, you can look it up afterwards. But, you know, since I didn't look up any of your verses, I'm not going to show you my verse. You know, I don't think that would be fair. But, you know, there's this verse in the 3rd chapter of the Quran. It's the 84th ayah, which is called, you know, the 84th verse, where it says, it's on the Prophet Muhammad. And I'm not saying this is like, you know, this is like a scholarly argument. This is just something that I've read, that I like. Where it says, like, you know, we believe in all of the prophets, right? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, you know, Noah, Moses, Jesus, and we make no distinctions, and we believe what was revealed to them, and we make no distinctions between them, right? I paraphrase that a little bit, and so when I read that, right, and before I became a Muslim, I read the entire Bible too, right? It took me a year and 9 months to read the entire. It took me a long time, but I'm not saying I'm an expert on it either, but. You know, when I read the Bible, right, and don't get me wrong, I think there is a place in Matthew where at the end of Matthew, during the resurrection event of Jesus, Jesus particularly says, like, now go bless them in the name, or now, like, not bless them, but, what's the thing when you dunk them underwater? I know that's I know it's a messed up way to ask it. What's it called? To go baptize them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So there, don't get me wrong. There is, you could make the Trinitarian argument, like there's a Trinitarian, framework from that one verse, right? So I'll grant you that, right? Again, I don't take any of the Gospels to be, eyewitnesses, or that's just me personally. I don't take it as eyewitnesses or credible enough. But aside from that, one verse, right, where Jesus explicitly says, "Go baptize them in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit." There's not a continuity of that same message delivered by any of the other prophets, right? And so, if the Quran is quote unquote confirming the Bible or the Torah, the Bible or the Injil and the Torah, then we confirm the messages of all those prophets. Then my belief and argument has to be that there has to be a continuity of message, right? So it's like, okay, if it is so easy that the Trinity is true, and that there always has been a Trinitarian God, then all the prophets should have preached it. And I'm not saying that like, oh, let us make them in their image, or the double Yahweh thing in Genesis. I'm saying like just as simple as where Jesus explicitly says, "Go baptize them in the Son, Father, and Holy Spirit." I would personally need evidence to be convinced of that, where other prophets would say something along the lines of, three persons, one God, or Father, Son, whatever it may be, right? Any formula that I would need to say Abraham says X, or Isaac says Y. That's what I would need as evidence personally. So again, I grant the accreditation that to you, just to make it easy for argument's sake, that the Bible and the Torah are not corrupted, even though I would argue otherwise. But then I would need to see a continuity of message between all the prophets. That's how I would personally would argue that.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Again, hey, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, bro. Hey, just if anything, just keep this. I'm glad that you found religion, because religion is going to be very important in these last days, right? Or like the last days of your life, right? It's gonna. I know we have differences and opinions and critiques of each other, but I'm telling you, going from because I wasn't ever an atheist, but I was like living the atheist lifestyle, and that was the worst. That was horrible. I would never want to go back to that ever again. But yeah, I think keep up the good manners, because that's and keep up the religion. That's super important in this life, and hopefully it takes you a long way.
Yeah, man. I'm glad. I'm glad you found religion as well. I'm glad you found like structure in life, becoming a Muslim. Yeah, wish like the best for you. Wish we both see each other on the other side.
Yeah, for sure.
Once we die.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, just praying for you, man.
Yeah, I'll pray for you too. And if you have if you ever want to come up again in the future, happy to always hear your thoughts or anything like that.
All right, thank you, man.
Yep, have a good one. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Sweet. Okay. All right. Okay. See, this is what I'm hoping for. This. I know. Listen, guys. I know there's probably so many things I could have argued against, but again, I'm not in the tuck fear business. I'm not in the argument business. I'm here to see like, okay, we have these differences of opinions. We have these different beliefs, right? You're not convinced of what I'm saying. I'm not convinced of what you're necessarily saying. But, at least, right, we can at least talk about maybe some of the issues that are going on in this world. We can talk about what convinces us of our religion, and we can end it there. This is not a debate forum. This is not a, I'm going to try and convince you otherwise. The last thing I want to do is represent Islam, like, me as a Muslim improperly. I'm probably saying things that are not perfect. I'm probably making mistakes in my things as well. But I at least want to represent me being a Muslim the best way possible. That is my goal when I do this, right? And so yeah, I'm very glad for this conversation. And yeah, may Allah, obviously he believes in the human God, Jesus, but may Allah guide him to the straight path, and may Allah, just may guide him to the straight path. Okay. So, do we need to put someone in a timeout? Hold on, let's just put in for a minute, and then I'll ask you guys. Well, actually, does he need to be in a timeout, guys? I know I know you guys got really interested in what the chat was saying, but does he need to be in a timeout or what? We've had this isn't the first time we've had issues with him. And so my goal also with the chat is to make sure like everyone feels like safe to the best. You know, I know we're gonna have like some arguments and disagreements for sure, but you know, is there issues with what he's been saying? Okay, we're giving a warning. Good to know. Okay. But yeah. I mean, look, you know that I'm hoping that this is the way we can have conversations with people, and of course I'm gonna get better at asking questions. You know, again, I'm not here. I'm not gonna be here to convince anyone of the message. That's obviously not my goal. That's obviously not my role. My role, honestly, like how if I could have it my way, is to just create a platform, create a space where we can just share ideas. We can share, you know, why we're convinced of our religions, you know, and then we can go on from there. Talk about some of the issues that our society is facing. You know, what can we do as Muslims and Christians to make it better? That's honestly a question I wish I would have asked. But like, you know, what can we do to represent our religions better? And what can we do to, you know, make this world a better place? You know, I know there's a lot of scamming, there's a lot of grifting, there's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of, you know, saying there's extremism on other sides. And so, yeah. What happened to Ibrahim? I put him on mute. Because it seemed like people were getting a little bit upset with what he was saying. And, you know, I have no problem putting him on mute. I got, you know, I've already had to take action on some of the things that he's done before in the past within our community. And so, yeah. Yeah, if I said anything wrong, or if I didn't go hard enough or whatever, then, you know, I ask Allah to forgive me for my shortcomings. I'll ask Allah to you know, grant me more knowledge, and I also ask you guys to forgive me my shortcomings as well. You know, like I said, I think, you know, hopefully the goal is to just create a space where people can share ideas, and, you know, again, not only just share ideas, but also like find a way forward rather than like, you know, finding way through division. Anyways, we're gonna finish this video here, and then we're gonna end the stream, inshallah.
I regret doing so at this point because it is next level crazy, manipulative, narcissistic stuff. Now, just to give the evidence as to why I know her team made it up is because we see on Twitter, Lily J updates. We see them being the first people to post that Donald Trump responds to Lily J. Now, it might be the case that they posted on Instagram and got a lot of backlash.
Yeah, and of course, I ask Allah for the dua that I made towards myself, for everyone, especially the Ummah as well. Because, yeah, you know, there's just a lot we're facing, right? You know, a lot of the reason why I want to do this is because we're just facing a lot, man. Gaza's obviously been in almost 3 years. I mean, way longer than that, of course. But 3 years since the October 7th, you know, right, the counterattack to the oppression that Israel was doing. And then it's been about 3 years of actual genocide and 3 years of you know, infrastructure destruction and death of children, death of women. It's been horrible to watch. And then there's been attacks also happening in America, right? What we saw in San Diego. And so it's like, you know, I just see it as a time where we need to start having better conversations with the other side. You know, even the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, I'm obviously, like, maybe I'm retrofitting a narrative, so please forgive me. But the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he did make treaties with hypocrites. He did make treaties with polytheists. There were many times where they went back on those treaties, but there were many times where they were upheld. And so it didn't stop him from not trying. And as well is that on the day when he took back Mecca, the first thing he said is that all of you will be forgiven this day. And so, you know, maybe we can, you know, maybe take a little bit out of, you know, some of, you know, his mannerisms and at least try. And then trust in Allah Azza wa Jal to protect us and to, you know, again, as I mentioned on the post before, no one can outrun or hide from Allah Azza wa Jal. And so, but I think, at least at this point in my life, I want to try and see how it goes. And maybe I'm doing the wrong thing, but, you know, we'll find out.
Because it's fake and like it's very easy to track if Donald Trump actually tweeted this or not. But even within this tweet, if you look at it, like all the people that are replying are saying that it's fake. So just to summarize, what we have here is Lily J updates, who is most likely Lily J or her team, you know, recording from afar, where I'm sure no one's going to be doing that for Lily J. I'm telling you from now. Or there's a bunch of AI generated slop meeting obviously the expectations of her team, as they love their AI generated slop. The quote unquote fan account is also located in the same place she's located in, which is Cyprus. And finally, they're up to no good, fabricating material such as Donald Trump speak.
Dang, Dean is really going hard on this.
About this woman, or Anne Hathaway doing an interview with her. So imagine that this woman is gaslighting you guys, saying that the Matrix is after her, when literally she's trying to pull a fast one on you guys, using the tactics of the so-called Matrix, trying to control what you think about her. Now, there's a couple things I can also mention, just because this is quite relevant. I don't want to keep repeating myself and make up like 100 videos, but of course this is new information. No one's really talking about it, so it's worth making videos on this. I mean, there's just so much material on this woman, it's crazy. So if you guys remember correctly, this is all in line with what we already know, with Lily J making up, you know, AI generated praises or awards for herself. As we remember, Lily J was apparently honored.
Dude, imagine being so down bad you have to do an AI generated award for yourself.
With the 2026 Austro Global Excellence Award for Gaza Humanitarian Relief, which is a made-up award, and this is a made-up photo, which wasn't actually given this reward. A lot of the stuff was taken down. However, this is one of the websites that wasn't taken down, and even that has Lily J making a statement. Now, if you guys remember correctly, Saeed Ahmed is actually part of the Real Media Group, and the Real Media Group is owned by her husband, and she is a co-owner of that group. So like I've said before, she's basically doing the Obama meme, where she's rewarding herself.
Lol.
With a medal. So yeah, there's a quote here from her saying, "This recognition marks a significant step forward for independent advocacy. We remain committed to ensuring that aid reaches the most vulnerable families directly." Okay, well, besides all of this BS located here, what we also find is, from this source, Saeed Ahmed, we find other things, right? Not just the Ultra Global Excellence Award here from Gaza Humanitarian Relief, but we also have Lily J committing $100,000 to provide water and food relief in Gaza. Now, if you click on that, what are you going to see? Again, from the Real Media Group, and again, from Saeed Ahmed. Now, if you're doing all this work in Gaza, then why do you need fake rewards and fake articles to be made about you? Just articles from your own group writing these articles as though they're in.
Yeah, dude, imagine you're so down bad you need other articles. You're having your husband's media group make articles. Oh my god. Dude, man, honestly, shout out to Dean, man. Shout out to Dean. I really pray that this is not right. This is like Lily J. There's obviously, I pray that there's a real explanation for all of this, but the evidence is not looking good, and I pray that Lily J does make tawbah, and she does repent, and she does commit all the money that she received. However, it's not looking good.
Independent. Like, as you can see here, there's no independent person actually verifying that she spent $100,000 to provide water and food relief in Gaza. And the funniest thing about this, with Saeed Ahmed from the Real Media Group, this guy literally had Lily J saying, people deserve to know exactly where help is going and what difference it makes. Okay, so if we deserve exactly to know where the help is going, then why did you contradict yourself by now telling us that we can't know where the help is going?
Wow.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing independent that's actually verifying that she spent $100,000 in Gaza. This just makes everything look way more fishy now. There's a bunch of self-glazing, self-promoting, self-verifying, nothing that's really independent. And like I mentioned before, just to summarize, she's not documenting the ingoings or the outgoings of this whole initiative that she has, the Lily J Foundation, that is. So we don't know exactly where the money is going. Furthermore, there's a whole, obviously, recap that I made previously. If you just look at the video before this, you'll be able to find it. I highly recommend watching this after seeing all of this stuff. So obviously, this is relevant to the whole charity thing and makes it look more suspicious, but man, this just adds another layer and layer and layer of just weirdness to this whole situation. But anyways, guys, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to hype the video, because obviously a lot of this stuff hasn't.
All right, yeah, we'll give this a hype. Wait, can I only hype on my phone? I'm not even subscribed. All right, we'll give him a. How am I not subscribed? All right, where can I hype? I think I can only hype on my phone. All right. Anyways, guys, it's like 1,000 degrees in my room. I'm sweating in so many places. This is actually gross. To be fair, I did work out before this, but dude, I can't believe I haven't passed out yet because it's so hot. We are gonna end it here. We're gonna end it here, guys. But I thank you guys all for joining. You know, shout out to, I think, that was his name. Shout out to him. It was very positive conversation. I mean, it was a civil conversation, so I'm glad we were able to at least like discuss some ideas. But no, I have a fan on, man. I do, and it's still bad. I'm like glistening. You guys can actually see I'm like actually glistening from sweat, just sitting here. And so yeah, but anyways, we're gonna end it here. Thank you guys all for joining. I'm not gonna be streaming tomorrow. Next stream will be Tuesday, inshallah. But yeah, I think this was a good first real conversation we've had with someone that's a Christian. It seems like he converted about a year ago, and again, it's that my goal is like, hey, how can we represent the faith properly? How can we, come to some agreements or come to some conclusions, whatever it may be. But yeah, I appreciate you guys all listening and giving your opinions. It seems like, yeah, there's a lot of, a lot of like angst with each other on the, it happens, man, it happens. But yeah, all we gotta do is just forgive each other and try better the next day. But thank you guys all for joining. May Allah put blessings into everything you guys do. I'll catch you guys all on Tuesday, inshallah. And assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Again, thank you guys, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one.